Big exciting news tonight as focus is on your stimulus. Big questions about what will happen on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon. As no one in their right mind thinks that stimulus is going to get approved in the next 7 days, except one person, wacky Nancy Pelosi. In new statements tonight, Nancy Pelosi says Wall Street's crashing is the president's fault and that he should give her exactly what she wants in the next 7 days. And she also said that Donald Trump should stand and take it like a man. Okay. What is she referring to? Well, let me give you a hint. She's not referring to his hairstyle. Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm here, you're here, and Wacky Nancy Pelosi News is back. I just in time to crush the comics. Oh, my goodness. She was gone for a few days. She went, to the casino, maybe. Sort of enjoyed some of that $12 ice cream. And instead, she came back with some zingers. And apparently, they don't bite. They just sort of, mess up your hair. So, if you've not subscribed to this channel, go to the Fun channel, subscribe, because I'm going to give you the great news, the bad news, and all about the wacky Nancy Pelosi news tonight in your second stimulus check and stimulus package update, your third stimulus package, and your non-Nancy Pelosi stimulus package. Also, like this video. Tonight, there's big concern across the country and around the world about stimulus, and that concern stems from inability of certain countries to pay the stimulus to the citizens that are desperately needed amid massive lockdowns, and those lockdowns are being announced over, around, and around the corner. In this video, I'll be going over what happened early today, what happened by the middle of today, and what happened by the end of today. Moreover, I will focus on what could happen on Wednesday, the night after election night. Big questions and big concerns as Wall Street's looking for the answers. But do we have them? Just have to tune in and see. All right, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as we have start the evening is that the Wall Street jitters hit a real big jittery buzz today, falling nearly 900 points. This has been the news that I predicted that the Wall Street would fall and will continue to fall all the way up through Tuesday. And the biggest fall could come after election night. Many insiders, including myself, now believe that the biggest fall for Wall Street and your second stimulus package and second stimulus check could come amid uncertainty as to who's going to actually give you stimulus. On Wednesday morning, when you wake up and you see the night's results from the night before of the presidential, state, and Senate and Electoral College results, you may not know who is your president. You may not know who's your senators, and you may not know whether Mitch is back and Nancy's brushing his hair. And this is really a big issue. Who would give you second stimulus? Who would give you third stimulus? Who would give you the past due first stimulus? There's a couple comments I see every now and then in some of the comments of this channel where people say, dude, this is not going to be a stimulus until after the election. To which my response is, dude, do you even know that there's stimulus after the election? And who's going to give it to you? Here's what's biting Wall Street today and much of America, is that with no uncertainty about who actually will be the president on Monday morning, who would actually do executive orders? If the president's not doing executive orders before election night, even though the purple power that follows this channel is pushing, the question is, would he do executive orders the night after elections? He could. He certainly has the right. He's the president all the way up until Inauguration Day. And then how about the Senate? Would the Senate roll over and give Nancy Pelosi what she wants after election night? Absolutely, categorically not. The Senate, whether they remain in position of their seats after election night or not, is not a part of the equation for Nancy Pelosi. Let me explain. The Senate has not been willing to give Nancy Pelosi what she wants currently. And after election night, they're either going to be voted out or going to be returning back into their seats. By being voted out, they don't leave until January. So between election night and January, if they're leaving in January, they're definitely not going to give her anything. And if they're returning if they're returning in January, guess what? They're also not going to give her anything. Now, how about the presidency? And how about if a Biden victory is revealed Wednesday morning, what does that do for your stimulus? Well, Nancy Pelosi thinks you get stimulus if there's a Biden win. Earth to Mars, Nancy. That's not how Congress works. Nancy Pelosi certainly understands that her bills, which she writes, head to someone other than the president. They head to the Senate. Because for a bill to become a law, it goes to the Senate. And then ultimately, the Senate may not ratify her bills. What's important to understand is that the balance of power to get your second stimulus does not rest in the presidency, it rests in the Senate. And that if the GOP retains ownership and control of the Senate on Wednesday morning, or any days thereafter, after contesting elections or runoff races, Nancy's worst nightmare has occurred. She has gotten her president, but she's not gotten her Senate, and ultimately, she's not gotten her bill approved. There's a series of political cartoons that have been posted in the last few hours today by Pulitzer Prize-winning cartoonists, and they all show Nancy Pelosi as basically holding the country ransom in the cartoons, asking and demanding bailouts for state and local government at the mercy of American citizens. Apparently, other people are getting the message. Apparently, the message that Nancy Pelosi is holding up America for one particular purpose is ultimately hitting very hard. And so what did Nancy Pelosi say today? Lord. In crazy Nancy Pelosi news, she said, well, on election night, Donald Trump will lose, and he needs to take it like a man. I don't know where she's coming from. That was the first thing. Then she said, well, the fact that Wall Street crashed today, Donald Trump should give me exactly what I want tomorrow morning. Do you see sort of a Napoleonic, narcissistic, demonic demeanor coming out somewhere along the lines? I don't know. Maybe you do. But this is from a person who basically Wall Street blamed for today's crash. Wall Street crashed today for three reasons. One, lack of stimulus passed by Congress, not passed by the president. Two, lockdowns looming and no stimulus for those lockdowns. And guess what? Nancy Pelosi has not written a bill to deal with the upcoming lockdowns that are expected across parts of this country. Third, the new COVID-19 cases across the country that are ravaging and breaking all records, 83,000 new cases a day. And guess what? Nancy Pelosi says, I'm still writing the language of the section about tracing and contract tracing. I haven't figured out this language. Get back to me. And I have some other drafts of that language. Honey, it's no October. It's October or almost in November. Do you think maybe you should have written the language about a contact tracing back in March? The bottom line is that Wall Street is unhappy and is going to remain unhappy for a while. You're going to see the push to get your second stimulus heat up more than ever before. What is happening now is actually good for you. It is good because, one, stimulus is front page. Two, the amount of stimulus is front page. Three, the lack of stimulus in your hand in the past is front page. And four, the calls for stimulus going forward is now front page. Let me go over what we're talking about. First, you have not gotten stimulus, but what stimulus have you not gotten? That has been one of the most important messages which I've been delivering on this channel in the last 48 hours. What stimulus have you not gotten? You're supposed to get stimulus to survive situations. You're not supposed to be given stimulus after you have not survived the situation. Nancy Pelosi wants to give stimulus to airlines, for example, after they've laid off employees. Don't lay them off. We already did, Nancy. Well, here's some stimulus for you. Congratulations. That would have helped before we laid them off. What is going on now is Congress is trying to provide you stimulus for the lockdowns that happened from March to the present. after many of you are now homeless, lost your home, lost your car, unable to pay for food, unable to pay for rent. And guess what she says? I have some stimulus here so you can pay the November rent. Yeah, I wasn't able to pay the August rent because of you, Nancy, so I've been evicted. So that's the lack of clarity in the mindset of an elder official. That's the first thing. Second, Wall Street's deeply concerned that this lack of stimulus will impact your ability to get employed and your ability to get basic health and proceeds that you need to live on. This is the looming lockdowns, whether it's Chicago or El Paso, whether it's the Northwest or the Southwest. There's big concerns that massive lockdowns will be announced across the country in certain cities, counties, and states. Ultimately, it's a local decision. It's not a federal decision. But on a federal level, in the country of France. Today, President Macron announced that his country will go on lockdown by federal order on Friday and remain on lockdown to December 31st. That's not going to happen in the United States because decisions about lockdown come from a local level. And the President of the United States, Donald Trump, does not want us to go on lockdown. But ultimately, you could see cities and counties and states go on lockdown. So how much stimulus should you get for that? Well, you already got a stimulus check coming to you for the month of March, so that should cover you. No, that's to cover me for the back things that I haven't been able to pay. Oh, okay, well, check back with me later. Yes, that's basically the song and dance that Congress is playing games with you now, is that as the lockdowns come up for November, December, January, there is no stimulus for those lockdowns. That's what's called third stimulus package. The third stimulus package was supposed to cover the winter months. It was talked about by Steve Mnuchin, it was talked about by Larry Kudlow, it was talked about by a lot of officials. It was the next stimulus package after the second one that was to provide you ability to get through the lockdowns of the winter months. Guess what? No one has even written the bill. No one's even talking about the bill. No one's even introducing the bill. No one is even doing anything to even discuss the budgeting of the bill. Well, are they gone? No, they're actually still there. Congress is in recess, meaning House and Senate floors are in recess. They can't vote on laws. But what's often confusing to the viewers of this channel or anyone that doesn't really follow politics that much is that Congress is not gone from town. Guess what they're doing? They're in town in subcommittees. Oh, well, there's subcommittees that deal with your stimulus, aren't there? Yes, there are subcommittees that deal with your stimulus, like the Small Business Administration's small subcommittee, Congressional Budget Office, things like that. So rent and housing subcommittee. There's all those types of subcommittees. Are they working on your stimulus? No. Are they writing the third stimulus package? No. So what are they doing? Oh, today Representative Blumenthal went after the tech companies and had a congressional hearing about them, because that's really a big issue for the Democrats right now. It's that type of lack of concern, along with, nominating Justice Barrett on Monday in 1 week after you can't get stimulus for 6 months, that millions of Americans are just a little bit exhausted with the situation. But that's not the purple power. The purple power is stepping up. The purple power is realigned. The purple power is focused, and I'm focused, and you should be focused. Purple Power caucuses were launched a week ago. Was it a week ago? Yeah, a week ago, approximately a week ago on this channel. And a week before that, I launched #MSC. What are the Purple Power caucuses, and why should you be involved, and why you should be part of the narrative? You should be involved because ultimately you're owed stimulus checks. You are owed a lot of relief. And then what is going to be happening is that all these bodies that are not getting relief are going to start coming forward and starting to jump in front of you. Today, Boeing, yesterday, 3M, all these different companies are reporting corporate earnings, and some of them are getting hit very hard. And guess what they're going to say? They may say, we need stimulus relief because our industry this and our industry that. Guess what? They're going to try to jump in front of you. Now, you don't have a lobbyist. You have me. You have us. You have this community of the Purple Power, the followers of this channel, and you need to be on social media, tweeting these videos, sharing these videos, and saying, hey, we're owed stimulus checks for the past. We're owed stimulus checks going forward. We're owed FPUC in the past, and we're owed FPUC going forward. And no one is taking care of these separate, different issues. And when they're owed hazard pay as well. What's important to understand is you got a first stimulus check in the month of March if you're not an adult dependent. And since then, you have never seen a stimulus check. It's been 6 months. Senator Harris, the VP nominee that Nancy Pelosi hopes becomes your vice president, did not even agree with Nancy Pelosi's bill. Said, I think that $1,200 is a bunch of bollocks, that you can't survive on $1,200 a month. You need $2,000 a month for 6 months or until the pandemic improves or unemployment goes down. That was her bill. She wrote the bill with Bernie Sanders. And now she has yet to comment about the bill after appearing across broadcast news in the month of May while running for president. She said $1,200 doesn't cut it. She says $1,200 is not enough. Well, then why is the Democratic leadership doing one stimulus bill for $1,200 for one check that would to cover, what are we on, 7 months now? And why is no one even talking about the third stimulus package to deal with the pandemic coming up? What's important to understand is that you're owed money in the past and that you need to prepare for the push to get the money in the future. What's important to also understand is that ultimately there's always someone in the comments that says, I haven't gotten the second stimulus. Why are we talking about the third? Because what we don't do on this channel is talk about something after it has happened. We talk about it before. Let me explain what's happening. You don't ask for your third stimulus check in June of next year for what happened in December of this year and say, well, I was evicted in December and now it's June. Can you give me my check back then? No. You demand the check now in December so you're not evicted in December. That's how we deal with things. We deal with things on the come, and that's what Congress is supposed to do. They're supposed to give relief so that you can survive this pandemic going forward. Ultimately, these governors and state legislatures that want bailouts from Nancy Pelosi also want you to go on lockdown. How do they expect you to go on lockdown if you can't work, you can't make money, you can't provide for your family, and you're not getting the stimulus check from the same Democratic leadership? There's big questions as we sit here tonight, and ultimately those big questions may not be decided on Tuesday night. We may have to see whether or not Nancy Pelosi's team gets the Senate, if the Democrats get the Senate or not. If they do, everything might change. If they don't, everything might stay exactly the same. And what's different is that a lot of people are betting on events to happen on election night, and those events may not occur. We simply don't know. All we know is that we're an incredible community that supports one another, that focuses on getting to the finish line, and knows how much you are owed. So go on social media and tweet hashtag Purple Power check, hashtag Purple Power FPUC, hashtag Purple Power hazard pay. Be part of the caucuses that are pushing the discussion about how much stimulus you're owed. How much stimulus are you owed for the checks? How much should you be getting for hazard pay? Include hashtags like LALATE, include hashtags like MSC, and say, you know what? We should be getting this. Get the discussions going, get your friends in communication, get those comments going, and then start tagging the politicians. Because after election night, the focus will be totally different than now. The election will have been done, votes will be contested, but the election will be done, and Wall Street, you, I, and everyone else will be looking at Congress and saying, enough is enough, now is the time to get it done. The question is, on what day, but more importantly, for what amount? If you have questions for today's video, drop them in the comments below, and I might feature them in tomorrow's recording. Coming up next is Purple Power. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and save our life for more.